Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 5th, 2024, and today the topic is Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful 4th of July. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall. Highlights from yesterday was going over there to my in-laws and enjoying the 4th with them. I even held one of the fireworks yesterday, y'all. So that was something new. um, had some good conversations with my in-laws. So my mother-in-law's in-laws. Some of them came and whatnot. So it's good to see them and everything like that. Another highlight was like on the way, hubby and I had a good conversation. Um, we've been getting in the habit of quote unquote playing these question games, and so and they usually inspire a deep conversation between us and stuff. And so we tried to play a lighthearted one yesterday so we wouldn't get super deep. um, but it was good. It was good. What came out in the conversation was good things to think about and maybe even do. So we're gonna see what the Lord do with all of that. But yeah, that's pretty much the main highlights of yesterday. Like I said, good conversations with everybody, and yeah, we're gonna see what the Lord do with the conversations. But yes, y'all, it is Friday, man. Not too much on my schedule today, just a little bit. I'm supposed to record an episode of the GSL Talk Show, and then later on, I'm supposed to have a meeting with my business coach and talk about that ebook I've been telling y'all I've been working on and stuff like that. I don't know what else we're gonna talk about, but I'm assuming we're gonna talk about that as well. So yeah, that was what my day is to look like. That's what my yesterday looked like. But let's talk about this conversation of open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Well, today I would say that the conversation was more so inspired by the prayer and meditation I listened to this morning. At some point, it was talking about, I feel like it said it at least twice because it stood out to me, I think the second time, about the eyes of your heart being open. And obviously it made me think about this song. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. So I didn't go look up the lyrics or anything, but it made me think about it. So after I listened to the prayer meditation, I ended up, going to my places, you know what I'm saying? Openbible.info and plugging in Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. And, there was a couple verses there, but then ultimately I was starting to think about like, what does this mean? And so I started to think about like seeing the truth and everything like that. And I can't lie. So here we go. And I guess this is something that happened yesterday as well, but I'm talking about it today. So as I was reflecting on seeing the truth, I couldn't help but think about things I've been seeing on social media. And, I know everybody, has different opinions. Nobody's going to be thinking the same because there's so many people out here and, stuff like that. But I mean, for me, it's just very sad, especially as believers, right? I'm talking to believers right now. It's very sad when I see believers not being in alignment with the Lord. And it's just very interesting because I'm like, if you claim to believe in God, right, and you claim to, you don't want to live accordingly, and all the things that we claim, how in the world can we align ourselves with anything else? It's that part has been so confusing to me. Like, I get that we have our own ideas, and I get that we might not like something. Again, I call it pulp here on the juice. You know what I'm saying? I don't like pulp and juice. So when I started thinking about this, I'm like, okay, the things I don't like in the Bible, the things I don't understand, I'm gonna call it pulp. And and I get it. There might be some pulp, right? There might be things we don't like or fully understand when it comes to the Bible. But I mean the basic stuff though, for me, I'm like, how in the world, like, you know, I mean, we debate about life. We debate about, love. We debate about who we are. We debate about all the like simple stuff. Like to where it's like if you had a little bit of relationship with the Lord, you should be able to discern what is right. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, again, if you're gonna say you believe, right? If you're gonna say you're gonna live according to what the Bible say, things like that. So I mean, without further ado, yeah, I done seen the stuff that's being passed around about Project 2025. And look, at first I'm like, where did this come from and why are they passing around? Because again, I'm out the loop of media. Then I heard about, I guess there was an announcement on the BET Awards and all this other stuff. And my whole thing is like, I mean, go look it up and see. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you gonna take the word of, it's like I tell you guys with the Bible every day, right? I can sit here and tell y'all all day long what's in it. But unless you go and read it for yourself, you don't really know if I'm telling you the truth or not. So I can sit here and be lying the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people do. That's not news, I think. I think that's known, but I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. I guess people take things at face value, right? Sometimes people just think that, I guess, everybody on the online is telling the truth. But here's the thing: everybody can't be telling the truth. Everything ain't true. Like, it's not. That's another thing. I guess it's a pet peeve or something I don't understand. This idea of thinking that I have truth, your truth, my truth, that truth, they truth, like it's truth all around. Like, how can that be true? Like, there's no way that everything can be true. Now, again, we got a free will to decide what you think is true, because that's what God gave us. Like I say, for some reason, which I know the reason, but at the same time, I'm like, but still, like, I mean, there's no way that everything can be true. So the thing is to seek out the truth, right? Now, again, if you're a believer, this is for believers now. If you're a believer and you proclaim that what the Bible says is true and Jesus and all this type of stuff, then hey, then okay, hold on to that as truth. And align everything else up with that. And if it ain't in alignment with it, then that means it's not the truth. Just based on that, I guess, lifestyle, or I don't know what you want to consider it to be. But if we're claiming to be believers, we're going to say the Bible is true and Jesus, where everything he said and did is true, then we're supposed to, as believers of this, my understanding is that we're supposed to be aligning or comparing everything to that. Like, if Bible is true, then everything outside of that, if it, I get it, we have questions. You know what I mean? We humans out here, we don't know, right? I'll even give it that much. We don't know what happens after we die. We just know what the Bible say, and we know people that say they've experienced, an almost death situation and they saw some stuff. But outside of that, none of us really know. I'll give it that. Now, to me, as a believer in the Bible, I'm like, okay, 50-50 chance here. You know what I'm saying? Either what the Bible says is true or not. If it is, there's a lot hinging on what you decide to do with your life and what you decide to do with Jesus. Like, it's a big deal, according to the Bible. Now, if it ain't, then hey, nothing lost, nothing gained, I guess, But anyway, so I've been seeing the stuff being passed around, and I'm like, well, let me go look and see what's going on. Now, I went and downloaded the document. It's about 900 or some pages. So, I mean, at one, I did not read it fully myself. So I'm not sitting here trying to act like, you know what I mean? But for those that didn't even take the time to download the document, and all you're doing is passing around images of what somebody else say is in it, or whatever the case may be, for me, I'm just like, where's the discernment? Believers, I'm talking to believers now, because again, unbelievers, I mean, I can't expect you to have discernment. I'm sorry, based on Bible though. Not discernment about this, you know what I'm saying, or to see it from the biblical perspective, unless the Lord gives you that revelation and you decide to take it and lean into it, or whatever case may be. Like, God can do anything. But what I'm saying is, I don't expect unbelievers to come to like regular life stuff and even consider the Bible, but for those that claim to be believers, right? For me, I'm just like, okay, the least you could do, just like picking up the Bible for yourself, go and look into things for yourself and see what's going on. Now, for me, again, Lord, why you got me talking about this? Okay, I'm gonna say it like this. I find it very interesting that everybody got all these things to say now that it's quote unquote election year. But no one has had nothing to say of all the craziness that's been going on over the past 4 years. Now, listen, look. Maybe you don't think it's crazy. Maybe you cool with it. Maybe you don't see nothing wrong. Like, I mean, that's possible according to the Bible as well, and we're gonna talk about that. And that's why, again, the only title that I've even felt okay with taking is Watchmen, because I feel like, yeah, there's things I'm seeing and hearing that other people ain't seeing and hearing. And I'm like, and not saying everybody, because there's a lot of people that are seeing and hearing what I'm hearing, and seeing. But again, I want to focus on believers here, because it's like, it's very sad, to see where it's like, so where were you at the whole 4 years and all this crazy stuff been going on? And you ain't saying nothing about that. But then all of a sudden, when the media puts out this idea that whatever this idea, Project 2025, all this stuff, it's bad, right? And now everybody wants to talk about how it's bad, and everybody wants to share it, and everybody wants to be like, "Ooh, you guys need to vote," and all this type of stuff. Look, I say vote your values, regardless of what party it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your values align with the party you talking about, then do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if your values align with, the other one, do that. I know at one year I did vote independent because my values didn't align with anything that I saw at that particular time, with the understanding that I had, right? Now with a little bit of more research, X, Y, and Z, then, maybe I'm going to be voting one way or another, which is your personal business. I'm not out here to tell you to vote one way. I'm just saying, as believers, it might behoove us and it might be beneficial for us to vote according to what we believe. I'll just leave it there. And if you ain't going to take the time to at least download the document and read anything for yourself, then why pass around what you think is in it? That's just like anybody that goes out here and misquotes the Bible all the time, and they out here just regurgitating it and coming on like my show and other places and talk about, well, the Bible is, keeps women down and all the things that they say. And it's like, well, look, when I read, I see a lot of empowered women in the Bible. So Proverbs 31 woman is totally empowered in my humble opinion. Like, I mean, what oppressed woman is out buying land and making decisions, business decisions and all that type of stuff? Like, I mean, but people take a narrative and run with it. They do it with the Bible, they do it with life. So I hope and pray that today's conversation will encourage and inspire everybody, right, to ask the Lord to open the eyes of their heart. So they can see and everything like that. So that's where the inspiration came from. Let's get into this juice, y'all. So just a few verses that were standing out to me this morning. Hopefully it will help us all understand different parts of this. If you're somebody like me and you are struggling with why this is happening, right? You're like, how in the world can a believer even align ourselves with anything unbiblical or anything that clearly goes against Christ? Like, how? This is how. Here's the answer. Help us understand, okay? 2 Corinthians 4:4, it says, in their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. And there it is. There's the answer. That's why. The God of this world, and that's lowercase g, the lowercase g God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers. Now, the interesting thing is, what is an unbeliever, right? Because a lot of times we like to think, oh, it's the person that clearly doesn't, yeah, they are unbelievers. But I would say, and y'all, and this is just, I guess, my little humble opinion, take it or leave it. I might be wrong. But I think unbelievers are, or another set of unbelievers are also those people that, again, proclaim to believe, but then don't live accordingly. The lukewarm people. You are also an unbeliever. I don't have anything else to add or say to that. Like, because again, if you believe, then you will live accordingly, right? If you really truly believed, then you would like what it says. You will be trying to live accordingly. You know, nobody's going to be perfect. Now, I'm not saying that. You know, again, Christ wouldn't have to do anything that he did if we was able to be perfect. We ain't. So, I mean, that's my understanding. That's what I've received and believe. So because of that, again, though, there is something to the trying, right? There is something to, seeking God about everything and presenting things to the Lord and saying, hey, Lord, okay, I'm hearing this, that, and the other. Help me to see the truth. Praying and, and things like that. Like all of that matters. And I believe is a testament or or the fruit of a believer. But unbelievers, again, even if we proclaim to quote unquote believe, it's about, oh yeah, I believe that, but I want to do my own thing. I don't want to incorporate God in any of my choices. I don't want to incorporate God in any of my thoughts, things of that nature. Then I would question whether you are a real believer. And I'm saying I would ask myself the question. It ain't about me and my opinion of you. I'm saying, yeah, like if I'm somebody that is claiming to be a believer, but not living accordingly and not considering God in all things and not presenting him with my thoughts and and things I'm confused about and not praying and not doing anything that the Bible requires, asks, encourages us to do, then yeah, I will question if I truly believe what I say I believe. So yeah, so unfortunately there are, I guess, unbelievers that are totally, they know and understand and they're fine with being unbelievers, but then there's unbelievers that are probably thinking that they're believers right now. And again, you'll know them by their fruit. Let me move on. So then what else was standing out to me? It was John 14:6. It says, Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So this is what I was saying earlier. Like, do you believe this or not? Do you believe he's the way, the truth, and the life? Again, some believe he's just a good teacher, stuff like that. But again, for me, that's this verse right here is the thing that separates any other idea from Christ, because he can't be no good teacher if he said this and it's not true. I mean, I don't know. Like that's my only way to rationalize it. Like if he's saying things like this, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody can come to the Father except through me. And we think, yes, he's a good teacher, but I don't believe everything he says. Okay, well, then that means either what he said is true or not true. And if he's out here telling lies, then does that make him a good teacher? Who's wrong? Now again, you got free will, and use your discernment, choose you this day who you gonna serve, whether you believe that or not. It's up to you. But I'm just saying, if we proclaim it to be believers and then we say, okay, Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the life, but there's other options out here, and there, and I could choose, I could do whatever I want to do, and X, Y, and Z. Then I mean, look, stop. I would say it's better for you to not even say you're a believer. Now, I mean, that's just me, my humble opinion. Okay. I mean, don't even proclaim to be a believer. Just, until you're sure. Because you could be a stumbling block, is my reason why I say what I'm saying. Because there are baby Christians, or there are people that are coming up that are looking, right, for truth, right? And if you out here saying, oh yeah, I'm a believer, but then you don't live accordingly and you don't vote accordingly and you don't whatever accordingly, then it's like, oh, so okay, there's lots of ways to do this. So let me see, I can do it this way or that way. Well, this way it looks a little bit more free because they can do whatever they want to do. So maybe I should do it. You see what I'm saying? Versus you just being honest and saying, you know what? I don't know if I believe that or not. And wait and seek the Lord and do what you got to do, right? Go through your journey and then make your decision. But anyway. So again, if this is true, then let's move on and see what else the Lord wants to say through me about opening your eyes of your heart. Okay. Luke 24:45. It says, then he opened their minds to understand the scripture. Period. Listen, until you get that part, then the scripture is just like it says, it's folly and foolishness to you until you can really, really receive that Christ is the only way. You know, so first things first, man, I guess, yeah, ask yourself, do you believe what this says? I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. You know, get that, you know, figure out what you truly believe about that, and then move forward. And then you can start to probably understand scripture and everything on another level. I mean, I don't get too deep, but I was having a conversation yesterday, and the individual, put it like that, the individual was saying how much they wanted to, I guess, be better about knowing Bible and the scripture and stuff like that. And I was like, well, how do you feel about challenges yourself for 30 days? How do you feel about, challenging yourself for daily? Because again, this is all I'm doing here, and it's been life changing. It has been life changing. Like, I would probably sit here, if the Lord's will, and as long as technology is up and X, Y, Z, I'll probably be here till my dying day, sitting here doing the juice, because it's been that life changing, and it's been opening my eyes, heart, and mind to the things of God and Him speaking and being intentional again about taking out the time and listening and all these different things. And so if you want to really get to know scripture, you got to start first with I guess, like I said, first things first. What do you believe about Jesus? Do you believe what He said or not? And then from there, your heart and mind and everything can start to open and understand the scriptures. So then we got Ephesians 1:18. It says, having the eyes of your hearts enlightened, that you may know that that you may know what is the hope to which He has called you. What are the riches of His glories or glorious inheritance in the saints? So I know I kind of jumbled that up a little bit, and I was kind of stumbling over there, but you guys can go read that, Ephesians 1:18. And again, obviously, this is where the whole open the eyes of your heart comes from. I guess what was standing out to me the most was, as I was reading this, is again having the having the eyes of your hearts enlightened. We need that. We need that. We need to renew our hearts and minds, like the Bible says. We need to have our hearts, the eyes of our hearts enlightened. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've sung the song before and stuff, but I don't think I ever thought about my heart having eyes. I know it's an interesting thought to think about, but yeah, but I can understand, again, once your heart becomes, open to God, His will, His way, and the things of God, then it can be enlightened, right? Once your eyes is open, right? Once you're able to truly receive. And so, I hope and pray that we're not being, unbelievers today and having our heart cold and hardened to God and the things He's doing and trying to do again with us, for us, and through us. At the end of the day, yes, there's a lot of things going on in this world. And yes, I mean, I don't know if I'm a conspiracy theorist at this point or whatever the case may be. Like I said yesterday, I mean, a lot of people think they're on the right side of history, but they're not on the right side of His story. And, ultimately the juice is, in order to really, truly get in alignment with God and His will and way, we got to, seek the Lord about getting Him to open up our hearts, man, getting Him to enlighten us, and take the scales off our eyes that the enemy to force on. And truly, I guess, I say the most practical thing we can do, I guess I'll leave y'all with this as the juice. The most practical thing we can do to open up our hearts, minds, and eyes to the Lord is to not only seek Him, but present or take the Bible, right, and anything in life, put it in comparison with it. That will help you see, or should help you see, again, God's will versus our own and the enemy. So that's the juice this morning. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys the Bible verse of today, and that is 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Friends, I hope y'all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Yes, today's Friday, y'all, so we have a new episode of the GSL Talk Show coming out at 7 p.m. tonight. It is with Brother Devon and Sister Jennifer Heath, and they are the owners of Chameleon Love, and so you guys can meet them and find out more about them tonight at 7 p.m. on the GSL Talk Show. And yeah, I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing. All those wonderful things. Listen, man, I'm not here to debate nobody about what they want to vote for and what they want to believe and X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm just trying to help us see and understand, like, as believers, we can't be aligning with everything. Like, and we definitely shouldn't be aligning with things that ain't of God. And, I mean, we should expect not only persecution, but to not be, quote unquote, agreed with and not be, quote unquote, liked and all those type of things, because that's what Jesus went through himself. And so, again, like I said, I told you guys all for the past month or so, I feel like it's been a pruning season. Things have been falling off, even people in my life. And so I know some people might not like what I said earlier about, and y'all probably are putting two and two together about, you know, parties and all that type of stuff. Again, my whole thing is this. I really don't care about the whole Democrat Republican debate per se. My whole thing is like, what's going to benefit, like which group, or, and even like I said, because when I told you guys, one year I even voted independent because I was like, you know what, I heard this person say something or say things that align with what I think it should be, versus what I was hearing, you know, on the other ends and stuff like that. Now I get it. Propaganda is real. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's happening in the media and this idea of forcing narratives and forcing, you know, ideas on people and stuff like that to think like, this is the truth. This is the truth. If you hear it a billion times, it's the truth. You know, that thing, that quote unquote broadcasting and things of that nature, all of that's real in my humble opinion. Like I said, I don't look at the news the same. I mean, I already wasn't looking at the news the same years ago, even before I found out stuff. But once I saw that video, and I think I shared it on social media back in 2020, once I saw that video of multiple media stations saying the same exact words, to me, that was a clear sign of propaganda, and I was over it. I was like, no. I want to hear what the Lord has to say. I want to hear unbiased news. You know what I mean? I want, like, you know, so I can make sound decisions. Like, I'm going to look into these candidates for myself and see what they stand for and vote accordingly. You know, like, because again, perhaps I wasn't as informed before I became a mom. I'll be honest about that. Before I became a mom, I don't think I paid much attention. I just kind of voted. I just kind of, you know, went along with, again, whatever, you know, the narrative was, whatever case may be. But once I became a mom, I started to really more so pay attention to like what was going on. What are these people saying? What are they standing for? Like, if I give them my vote X, Y, and Z, what are they going to do and stuff like that? Now I get it. Some people like, oh, it's two wings of the same bird, and you know, all the other different phrases. You know, they're both sides of the same coin, and you know, whatever. But again, and some people don't think their vote matters and stuff like that. Now, I will say again, especially as an African-American person and stuff like that, I mean, you know, people did fight and die for our right to vote. So, I mean, you know, so in honor of that, we should take it more seriously and things like that. I say take it seriously enough to do your due diligence, right? Again, look up these candidates. Like that was, there were times I went to the polls and I didn't know who the people were. I just looked at their names and was, voting like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would say over the past few years, I've been more informed about, okay, who is this person? What are they standing for? Let me look this stuff up. And we got to do that. We need to do that and do our due diligence. We have this ability here in the U.S. right now, because who knows where it's going, but we do have the ability now to, again, vote freely and to, look up information for ourselves and all this type of stuff, and not have to just go with the quote unquote crowd. And honestly, according to the Bible, if you're going with the crowd, you out of order anyway. So I mean, that should be a clear sign to you as a believer. Now I'm talking to believers here. That should be a clear sign to you. If you are in alignment with the crowd, then that might not be, the way to go. You might need to, again, seek the Lord about what he wants you to do and who he wants you to vote for. Like, I think all of that matters. I think he cares about that. I mean, I feel like it's in the Bible that he cared about things like that. And so why do we think that he don't care about those things today? Like, I mean, he didn't just pick everybody to be king. He didn't even want them to have no king, but that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, so sorry if you didn't like what I said. But I'm just, all I'm saying is, like I said, without going deep and saying and giving my personal opinions about what I'm going to do and all this type of stuff, all I say is, whatever you're hearing, go and look it up for yourself. Go find it for yourself, read it for yourself, and see what you align with, and vote according to that. Like, stop just, again, even with the stuff I say here on the juice, like, how I'm telling you the truth? Like, I wrote the verses down in the Bible, from the Bible. I wrote them down in this journal. So how I wrote it down right? Half the time, sometimes I don't even read it right. And I'll be like, ooh, read it for yourself. So, I mean, look. How much are we going to like, and at the end of the day, we can't blame anybody else for us not doing our due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Like, read the Bible for yourself, go look into these candidates and stuff like that for yourself. Really pray. If you're a believer, pray and seek the Lord about, again, what he wants, this country to do and be. I think it's pretty clear based on like the Constitution and stuff, which is saving us from a lot of things right now, whether we know it or not. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all have a fabulous Friday. And I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye.